What's up, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. In these videos, you can learn technical analysis so you can accurately predict and forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies. You can also see where we are buying and selling these cryptocurrencies ourselves. So let's get into it here with Bitcoin on the monthly time frame. On the monthly time frame, we can see we have this rise in price. We're still trending bullishly on the monthly time frame. We're having a little bit of a stop here up at the R3 pivot, which is about 63,200. This is a resistance level. If you're not familiar with the pivot indicator, this is a indicator that shows you resistance and support levels based on the previous average price range that we were in. So this is the R3 pivot, which is acting as resistance currently. If we end up closing above the R3 pivot, the expectation is we'll probably move to the R4 pivot, and that's up at about 80,000. So that would be, I know it sounds crazy now, but that is what this indicator is telling us if we end up going back above and getting a close above this high. So let's look at the weekly time frame and see the rejection off of that R3. So you can see we rejected off of that, came down, and then wicked below the low of this weekly candle from March 22nd. So this is what we would call a Darth Maul candle, and this is because it looks like the lightsaber from the movie Star Wars that Darth Maul has, which is a lightsaber with, it's a double-sided lightsaber with, which kind of looks like this, with a handle in the middle and then a lightsaber on the top and bottom. And that's what we're seeing right now with a long upper wick and long lower wick here. And then a close with the body of the candle in the middle. And so we grabbed the liquidity above this high and this low down here, and then we closed back above it. And that's what the check mark is signifying, that we grabbed the liquidity below that low. You can see that we had this decrease in strength on the RSI as we go up in price that led to this drawdown in price. And the way we know that is if we go to the 3-day time frame, we can see that we were getting these higher highs in price right here. And then we were in the RSI, we're getting lower highs in price. So it made sense why we had this decrease in price, and subsequently we are now looking to potentially start to rise in price slowly but surely as more people start to become bullish on the price action that we are currently seeing. So on the 3-day time frame, the support level that we're dealing with here is this blue level. This blue level is where we had our trend change right here. And this is what I'm always looking for when I'm looking to make a bullish entry, is where is the last candle where people were selling before the rise in price that continued the trend. So right here we have that candle where we have our low, high, higher low, signifying bullish momentum, or I'm sorry, bearish momentum is waning, meaning that there's less sellers on this drawdown than there was on this initial drawdown because we didn't go as low in price. And then the subsequent rise in price with candle closes above the high. That's telling us that indeed we are in a bullish scenario here, and we have that rise in price subsequently. So this is our support level that we tested here, and then we had the rise in price, tested again here, and then we bounced off of it again. So I imagine that over the next few days we're going to have an increase in price that we're already starting to see now. If we go to the daily time frame, let's look at the daily time frame here. So the daily time frame has all these long lower wicks of people buying the dip. And so people are buying the dip. You can see evidenced by the increase in bull volume here that we're seeing. And so that increase in bull volume is exactly what we want to see if we're a bull, with wicks all below this low. So this key low is where the whales are had to push the price to grab some liquidity, as well as this low down here. And so now we're getting all of these candle closes below above this low. If we start to get candle closes below that low, that's when we should be starting to get concerned. But we're not seeing that yet, and this is very bullish price action in my opinion. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, let's take a look at an example of when we were seeing a similar situation. Here's a similar situation right here. Here's a key low where people went long right here, expecting the rise in price to continue. Price traded back down below here, and subsequently wicked below this low 4 or 5 times here, before eventually going back above, forming a higher low, and then going on this nice rise in price. So when you see those long lower wicks, multiple in a row in one direction, that's telling you that the price action is probably going to be bullish from there. So here's another one. Multiple longer lower wicks and then a rise in price. Here's another one right here. Multiple long lower wicks and then the rise in price here. So on the 4-hour time frame, we haven't started to see that yet, but we did just set a higher low here. We'll see if we end up coming up to form either a higher high or another lower high and continue to consolidate in price. But that's what we're looking at on the daily time frame, and that's what you can look for when you're looking at analyzing price action for different cryptocurrencies, is looking for those long lower wicks if you're looking to go long, because that's signifying that people are buying the dip. So the price traded down significantly, like down to here and then down to here, but then people bought that dip and pushed it back above and closed it back above. So now we know that if we continue to see long lower wicks like this, this is bullish price action. We can potentially try and look for an entry on a lower term time frame. The gray areas right here are support levels that are supporting price right now. This one down here is when we were, well, let's start with the one up top because it's the same exact situation. This is where we had a bear trend. So we had a high, low, lower high, lower low pattern with candle closes below that low right here. And so this zone, the last candle where people were buying before the push down in price, is going to be our resistance zone. And that's what we're seeing right here. We came back into this level right here and rejected off of it. And this is a continuation right here of the same exact pattern with a high, low, lower high, lower low. So this is the same exact situation where this should have acted as resistance, but it didn't. It pushed right through this and closed above it. So now the people that were initially trying to sell their Bitcoin here thinking this is going to be resistance are going to buy it back here once they recognize that, well, indeed, we're trending upwards here. And that's what we get right here. And then we rise up for a new all-time high, come down, and now it looks like we're grabbing liquidity. And then we're going to go up for new all-time highs from there. That would be what I would imagine will happen from here. Is we do go to new all-time highs. It's going to take some time, but I think that is going to end up being the case. We'll see how the shorter term time frame trend goes here, but if we look at the 12-hour time frame, we're contracting here with just no higher highs or lower lows. We're just seeing low, high, higher low, lower high, potentially a higher low, and then we'll see if we form another lower high or if we come up and break to a higher high. If we do end up doing that on the 12-hour time frame, this black candle right here will end up being a support level for us. And a developing hidden bullish divergence in the 12-hour time frame is this right here, and that is the lower low in the RSI, but then the higher low in price. So that if this 12-hour candle ends up breaking the high of this 12-hour candle here, that'll end up being a hidden bullish divergence in the 12-hour time frame, and that'll end up pushing the price higher, in my opinion. If we just form an inside bar in this 12-hour candle, that's fine. Then the next 12-hour candle, we can look to see if that breaks the high, and then this would still be a valid hidden bullish divergence. The resistance levels that we're dealing with real quick are this gray zone right here, which we're currently running into for the 1, 2, 3, 4th time. The more times that we test this zone, the weaker it gets. So if we end up closing a couple candles above this, that would be very bullish for continuation in price, and I would probably look to long a retest of that zone. This zone up here, this second gray zone, is on the 8-hour time frame. It's this candle right here that we bounced off of right here. And so this is the same exact pattern. It's the same exact situation from before, where we had our high, low, lower high, lower low. Bear trend confirmation right here. We came into this zone, but we didn't actually reject off of it. We traded right through it and closed above it right here. And then when we retested that, that was a support level for this rise in price. So now we'll see what ends up happening here in the next coming day. you can see that we're getting a pretty bullish rise in price right here. Like I said, my bias is that we end up going for new all-time highs from here. When you see this many long lower wicks on the daily time frame, that's very, very bullish. You don't see that very often. Let's see if I can try and find price action like that. Is there anything? Here's one. Here's an example of that. A lot of long lower wicks in the same area, and then dramatic increase in price from that point. So that's kind of what we're seeing now is multiple long lower wicks in the same area, and then we might end up seeing the, like I said, rise in price subsequently from this if we end up going up. The areas that I'm looking for, like I said, one last area for resistance is this candle right here on the 12-hour time frame. This candle right here, you can see that when we came into it, I guess it's actually probably more of an 8-hour, this candle right here. So that candle right there acted as support right here, and then once we reject through it, that's going to be our resistance level, and that's up here at about 59,450. So we got a ways to go before we get to that point if we do end up getting there, but that's what I'm going to be looking for rejection. I would imagine that that's probably where price will stop on the rise in price, at least momentarily, and then maybe it retests this 8-hour zone or something, and then we go up from there. I don't know, but those are the main levels that I'm watching. I hope it was helpful for you. If you like this video, give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And until next time, onward and upward.